KW's extensive offering is but one of the many things we bring you right here, right now.
Greetings Romies and welcome to Rum, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing and sharing news of the Sim Racing Expo. We had so many news, we didn't want to make an hour-long video, although maybe you would have watched it, but we are cutting the news into different pieces, into different videos, so this is yet another video with first impressions and news of the Sim Racing Expo. On the first video you saw Ike, this time you see Cody.
Hey everybody, it's good to see y'all.
All the way from Texas. So, what are your first impressions?
Well, goodness, it is big, it's exciting, it is a lot of fun. You might be able to hear...
this is the LMP3 from Ascher.
Yeah, you might be able to hear an engine just started up. They've got race cars in there. They've got racing simulators in there. They've got everything that you could want. So I've been saying it, I'll say it again. Serta's been saying it. If you are a sim racing fan, it's like being a kid in a candy store. It's been awesome. We are taking a critical look at a bunch of different products. We're seeing a lot of new products. And it has been an absolutely wonderful experience all around so far.
Enjoy this video with news from the Sim Racing Expo.
Pro and amateur racers, be it sim racers or not, have one thing in common. They want to get better and better and better. That's why applications like Simboostr have started appearing on the horizon. For the moment only available for F122 and F123, but with plans to move into sim racing, the Hungarian company is working on a system that will collect your data, upload it to their servers, let some algorithms do their magic, and show you where and how you can gain a couple of tenths of a second or even whole seconds. We're not allowed to tell you which will be their sim of choice as a follow-up to the F1 games, but can tell you they are already working on it for sure. Especially after the feedback from the Sim Racing Expo. The Simboostr system has two components, as was to be expected. On the one hand, there's a piece of software you download for either PC or consoles. On the other hand, there's the Simboostr backend where your data gets uploaded to and which analyzes your data to help you get better. According to Simboostr, the analysis is only a matter of seconds and you can start checking what you should do better. At the moment you'll get information on braking, throttle, gearing and steering. On a future update it will allow you to compare your setup to drivers that are faster, and they are also working on giving you setup recommendations. The idea for Simboostr grew out of the racing team in their university, which after working for some years in other companies decided to move back into the realm of racing. You can test the software for free, but if you decide you like it and would like to have more and better analysis, you will have to pay either €5 per month or €50 if you pay for a whole year up front.
Simboostr. At the moment only F1, but in the future when they start supporting AC, ACC, maybe AC2, Rennsport and all that, for us really deep into the sim racing universe, getting those 2 cents, 3 cents of a second or even a whole second better is gonna be interesting. €50 a year or €5 a month may seem much, but at the end of the day is one F1 game per year, so see if you consider it good. Think about it. For now, as it's only F1, it's not a thing for us, but in the future, and we'll keep contact for sure, it may be a thing for us and for you.
Get out of the way! The official Formula E game is here. Formula E High Voltage is management game with NFTs? What? It's 2023 and you still blather around about NFTs? Not that they were ever a good idea, mind you. And judging by the results of Frontier developments, it might not be the best time for motorsport management games. Oh, you didn't hear? Yeah, F1 Manager 23 sold so badly, Frontier has to start laying off people. They have to reduce costs by 20%, and it's not like they were paying market competitive rates for developers anyway. While they made £108 million revenue, they also made a £9 million loss. Why is it that when management messes up, it's not the managers who go first, but those who've put in all the work? Sounds backwards to me, but I'm strange that way. Moving on to better news, SnowRunner just started Season 11, where you do something completely new. Well, no, not completely. While the season is called Lights and Cameras and you help a film crew with preparing some action scenes, the game still will test your skills and therefore your patience, and will lead to pulling of hairs, uncontrollable sobbing, and having eureka moments in the middle of an important work meeting. Been there, done that. Keeping with trucks, Euro Truck Simulator released this week the West Balkans DLC we've talked about in our news. See the link up there. The DLC can be purchased for €18 on Steam, but it also comes included in different bundles SCS have set up. On the other side of the virtual pond, American Truck Simulator brings a hidden goodie with its 1.49 update, which is not yet out. The Packard Technical Center, which is kinda hidden within the state of Washington. Of course, you will be able to drive your truck through the Technical Center and give it some thorough testing. F1 23 did not bring anything new, just some graphics overhauls to keep in line with the livery sponsoring and all that in Formula 1.
Grit Racing, hailing from Ingolstadt in the south of Germany, are a company with an innovative idea. An alternative or addition to the 4 and 6 degrees of freedom motion rigs that have become ubiquitous among high-end simulators over the past decade. Using a silent compressor, the telemetry from the racing is imported to their own software, and individually controlled valves to pressurize and vent multiple airbags strategically placed around the seat for maximum effect. The Grit Racing G-Seat seeks to regain the butt feel that simulators can lack. As you can imagine, we had to have a go in the rig, both with the G-Seat running with the motion rig and without rig movement. Even if they unfortunately had to bring an older prototype, since the more recent version was tearing the bags 3 days prior, the first impressions are, much like the Race at Home rig that we brought you in our previous video, very good in the field department. Whilst Bar-Francorchamps flattered the rig with the immense climb up Raidillon, the rest of the lap was definitely up to scratch, even if the effects were a little delayed. An admission Grit were not shy from making, as it was due to issues with the older prototype, which they say they've solved in the newest version. There is a clear intention by Grit to bring that missing element from existing rigs to completely immerse the high-end sim racer. When asked about pricing, they were very clear that this is a low-volume niche product, with the race version of the G-Seat with a fitted seat and lateral G cushions targeting a €4,500 USD sale price including the seat. There's also a DIY option available for €3,500 USD, with the understanding that you have some skill with the spanner and will be able to fit it to your existing race seat. This can be reduced if you support their crowdfunding. See the QR code or check the link in our description. Launched the very weekend of the Sim Racing Expo, where a €500 USD pledge will secure a €1,000 USD discount off the final price once the development is complete. No small amount of money, no matter how you slice it. But if the reliability can be nailed down in this prototyping phase, this kind of simulation could replace a full sim rig. If, for example, you were living in an apartment where a motion rig would cause a lot of commotion in the building, or again, the living room environment where it is a shared space, the only real downside is the requirement for a compressor in that space, which thankfully is included in the cost of whichever tier product you choose to buy. Suffice to say, we were generally impressed by the principle of the G-Seat, and the primary execution offers a reasonable glimpse into what Grit have planned for the future of sim racing. The WAR or wife approval rating on this one will also be very high, especially when a bulky traditional motion rig is offered as the alternative. and to provide the full kit as well as supporting tinkerers as well is something we're genuinely happy to see Grit putting at the top of their development list. They are early on in their development, so if you want to keep tags on the GC as it matures, the link will be below, but in the meantime, we'll be hoping they have a brief look at their tagline. I'm not sure we can even say that on YouTube without getting age restricted or demonetized.
Grit, it's an interesting thing. I felt at the sides how I was moving. At the moment you only feel at the sides. I would advise that they also give something for the buttocks and for the back. And the thing is, of course, 4,500 euro for this year is a little bit much. It's of course also, it has to do with the economy of scale. When they go into full scale and can sell it much more, they're going to be able to use other prices. But 4,500 just for a little bit of feeling at the side and at the back is, in my opinion, a little bit too much. But the feeling was very interesting, and as Philip was telling me, the cushions did not fill fast enough with air, and in their real prototype they do fill faster, so the conversion on G-forces is going to be better. So it's a very interesting proposition for those who have everything or almost everything to get that tiny little bit more of immersion.
An update of an update. iRacing developers have seemingly learned from Reza, and now even their patches are a mile long and a mile high. They made buying their stuff easier, not by stopping the double dipping or dropping their prices, but by having a shopping cart for your easy bankruptcy. Also, everything can now be purchased directly on the iRacing application. In the application, you will see details of the stuff you buy, including VAT and/or sales tax, and you can change the way you pay for it on the fly. Promotional and gift card codes can also be redeemed there. From spending too much money to enjoying yourself, from now on you'll find a page within Go Racing that will show a list of the running sessions that allow you to join as spectator. You will be able to search, sort and filter within this page, as well as choosing favorites and only displaying those. The downloader now allows uploads and downloads managing, and the league roster now shows nicknames and car numbers for all league members. Within the simulation, there's been many changes to spotter logic and messages. Check the link in a description as always for details. And if you race using VR, you will now see smoke even if you have set up the particle detail to low. Setups have been updated for the NASCAR Legend cars, as well as the Dallara IR18. The Ferrari's 296 GT3's wing will be repaired now, and a ton of changes within the Super Formula SF23. PA announcements and commentary in the local language have been added to Monza, Interlagos, Imola, Barcelona, Le Denon and Magny-Cours. I wonder when they'll do the same with Texas. Patrons help us bring better product reviews and sim racing news. Become our hero by becoming a patron at patreon.com/romrom. Amongst other perks, becoming a patron will fix your name for posterity like this, but you'll also be able to participate in our podcast recordings, get to know what we plan and what we're doing, and will be able to take part in our decisions. A big thank you to our patrons and members. If you come here often, please consider subscribing. Unlike other companies, the KW team had a lot of new stuff to show at the Sim Racing Expo. Tons of stuff to be seen by a company that has everything to offer: the sim, the rims, the rigs. On the Friday of the expo, they started pre-selling 2 of the 4 McLaren rims we told you about in depth last year. See the link up there, which are almost the same as the rims used in the McLaren Artura, only the logic is different. The Ascher Racing McLaren Artura Sport and the Ascher Racing McLaren Artura Pro. They come in two different versions each, with the USB version being compatible with every base, the so-called SE version being cableless but compatible only with SimCube bases. The Ascher Racing McLaren Artura Ultimate wheel, as you can see, has an integrated display that you control and set up via SimHub. This one will not be on sale until at least Q2 of next year. But that was not all, not by far. Together with Sabelt, the Italian company we'll talk about in the next video, they developed a button plate for the Sabelt SW1R Plus rim, or rather, they worked on a way to add their existing button plates to the Sabelt rim. Sabelt went specifically to Ascher for the button box after a lengthy search for a company that would fit their standards, so more power to Ascher. With regards to the rims that they had on display at the expo, I would have had problems driving them as the space between the handles and the shift paddles would not be enough for my big hands. Luckily, you can add more than the one spacer the paddles had and would therefore get some more space. On the Tracktime part of the extensive KW offer, they brought many new motion rigs. One of them a 2 DOF at the affordable price of 2,500 to 3,000 euro, which is reached by using only 2 motion actuators that are at the back of the rig, as you can see. While it doesn't look as nice as the Emotion motion rigs, it only costs a fraction of the price of the Emotion, so there's that. Bear in mind, what you see is a prototype they are still working on, but they plan to offer it to the public very soon. Sad news though, Tracktime is leaving sim racing and going sim flying. Not really, but they have developed this sim rig that can be used for sim racing and for flying sims, and they had it set up for flight simulators, as you can see. They could not confirm if it works on space simulators like Elite Dangerous or Star Citizen, should the latter ever come out of alpha, but you never know. Maybe they'll tweak something around that. A special goodie was that you can get an eye tracker module that follows the movement of your head. Tracktime had rig and simulator set up so that you could use either that or VR. And not only did they bring Tim Heinemann's DTM Porsche to the expo and on Saturday Mr. Heinemann himself, but they brought, showed and exhibited the From Sim to DTM rig with the same livery design as the car. And adding to that, the rig's motion as well as everything else is set up to the specifications that Tim Heinemann uses for training the DTM races. Not just at home, but also from race to race, so he can even train away from the track. The motion profile is set up the way Tim wants it, as do the pedal and wheel settings, including of course the force feedback. If you like to drive GT3 type cars and most especially the DTMs, we can't imagine any setup coming nearer to reality than this. If you want, you can buy the complete rig with pedals, wheel and monitor, all from Tracktime. The configuration you see in the video, including the SimuCube active pedals, comes with a price tag of 26,000 euro, so you'll have to beg Santa a lot to get it. But the starting price for the most basic configuration of this rig is 12,000 euro. Mind you, if you use the normal pedals, the price will lower by the crazy amount the SimuCube pedals cost.
That was Tracktime, Ascher, Race Room, they're all together. They showed us the wheels which we already talked about last year. This McLaren here is using exactly the same wheel, only with a slightly different logic, because this is a frigging race car, okay? And we went up to learning how to drive on a DTM car with this motion rig. So what they do is they keep searching for ways of expanding what they already have, of making it more interesting. I think the McLaren wheels are very interesting. I would like to get my hands on that. And this motion rig that is set up so that Mr. Heinemann can train on that is of course very interesting to all of you who want tin tops. The prices are, well, high quality. We know Ascher delivers high quality, and we know Tracktime delivers high quality, and this is a motion rig, so that's what the prices are. At the end of the day, Tracktime Ascher, they do deliver good quality for the price that it's going to need, and it's very interesting too. So hey, we're having the time of our lives here.